What's happening, guys? Martinez back again. Ask Martinez. So we're just rolling with the videos. We see what comes up. We do a video on it. So answering your questions. Question was, is there anything like Zara for him? I'm looking for an alternative. Okay, so ultimately the Zara for him fragrance, I would say you're probably thinking along the lines of as an alternative, and again, it does depend on your pocket. It does depend on what you want to pay. Alternatives, I'm going to say, if you can afford to do so, Dolce & Gabbana, the One or the Parfum. Equally, I'm going to suggest Valentino Uomo. I'm going to suggest, again, if you can afford to do so, my favorite would be definitely Dior Pour Homme Intense. They're the fragrances I would recommend as an alternative. Obviously, they're now designer fragrances. They're not necessarily a high street fragrance. So that's not really going to be for everybody, because not everybody realistically would want to pay the prices of that. But if you want something that's going to last you, don't get me wrong as well, the Zara Pour Homme is actually quite a stable fragrance. I've worn that on many occasions. It's not the strongest or the loudest when it comes to projection, but it's a fragrance which is quite suitable for many occasions. I would say you could wear that quite easily to the office. I would probably spray it and allow it to dry down. But as alternatives go, that's probably one I'd recommend. What else was there in respect of questions? Yeah, some of you guys also from the previous video when I talked about having too many fragrances, it's good to see that some of you do agree with my point. Yes, okay, I don't necessarily regard myself as a fragrance review as such in the same way as I once did. The channel's going to move in a different direction, and to some extent it's one of those things where I'm putting up videos that I want to put up now as well. I know obviously you guys ask questions, and I know you guys obviously come here for some type of content, so I do appreciate again that you're continuing to do so. But ultimately it does get to a stage with all these things, like, you know, less is more sometimes, and I think you can appreciate more of fragrance or even things in general, just general stuff, if you actually have how could I say, you've actually conquered the need to feel that you need to have, if that makes sense. And I'm at a point where as well, I went through that time where you smell different fragrances, you enjoy the fragrances, you think wow, 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 but then you get to a point where naturally, like anyone, you know, you can't have everything, you can't own everything, you can't know everything, and to think that you can smell every single fragrance going, yes, you can smell them, but you know, to own them all, you know, who really wants to do that? Even the people who have, you know, endless reams of money and can afford to do whatever they want to do, do they really want to own everything there is on, you know, in respect of, let's say, every single type of t-shirt that's going? Not really, no. So I think the same goes with fragrances. And the thing as well is, you'll notice as well, even Jeremy Fragrance, for those guys that watch his videos, still, I know some people have sort of changed their opinion, but it is what it is. Don't forget, even him, he will usually come back to the same type of fragrances. When he refers to particular fragrances and saying, you need to get this one, you need to get this one for summer, you need to get this one for high school, you need to get this one for winter, he'll usually reference the same type of fragrances, which again goes to show you that you do not need to have reams upon reams of fragrances. You may have something that you enjoy and that's unique to you, but ultimately, the other point I'm saying is that it's important to become aware, and again, you know, as an adult, become aware as to where the balance lies. Does it mean that you just continue to buy and spend your money? If you want to do that, that's fine, do your thing. If that's your hobby, it's costly, do your thing. But I think one thing you got to bring, camera cut out on me. Yeah, as I was saying, the physical space, the physical time, well, not physical time, but the time it takes to go and get these fragrances, guys, the physical space it takes up, you know, I mean, what's the end game? And I think, you know, it gets to a point when I think stuff is pushing you out of your own space. If you find you got a desk, you got a bedside cabinet, whatever it is, and it's just full of fragrances, that's fine, that's fantastic. You can have a wardrobe full of fragrances, that's fantastic. But in the end, what does it mean? So, you know, that's just me personally. If you want to continue to spend your money and just buy fragrances non-stop because some YouTuber told you to do so, that's entirely up to yourself. Me personally, I've chosen to obviously do other things with my time and my money, but at the same time, don't get me wrong, it's fantastic to smell fragrances. I really enjoy that as a process. And if you're really into it, guys, rather than buying these consumer goods, why not consider also potentially even getting to a point where you want to look into perfumery yourself? If you really want to look into it, enjoy the process, but really look into it yourself. You know, there's courses you can do, you can find out about perfumery, you can even create your own line as well if you really want to, and the rest obviously then is about distribution, everything else like that, and promotion, marketing. But again, it's all part of the game, because it is about making money in the end as well for some of these things. But as it goes though, guys, if that's your hobby, by all means, I'm not knocking the hobby, of collecting fragrances. You know, as I say, you already see the videos, I've done it as well. It's just that you get to a point again with certain things where you may have grown out of it, or you take a different perspective on it. And for me personally, I don't think it's necessary to really even, potentially maybe 10 fragrances, yes, but you know, beyond that, it is what it is what it is. But anyway, guys, thank you very much. Leave your comments down below. Any questions, I will try and answer them. See you in the next video. Peace.